you ever done something so silly that everyone around you began to laugh? Or have you ever seen anyone else do something so utterly ridiculous that made people laugh out loud? Hello everyone, I'm Kathleen Pelly. Welcome to Journey with Story. Well, I don't know about you, but I've certainly done some silly things from time to time that made my family laugh out loud. When I was distracted or busy thinking of other things, I might have put my t-shirt on inside out, or I might have placed a drink on top of the car and driven away with it, sloshing all over. Today's story is an old folktale from Greece, retold by Virginia Haviland, about a foolish woman and her 3 foolish daughters. And you won't believe how foolish and silly they are. Let's take a journey with the foolish wife and her 3 foolish daughters. Once upon a time in Greece there was a priest who had a wife and 3 daughters. And I must tell you that all 4 women were an even match for each other in foolishness. One day after she had been to church, the priest's eldest daughter went for a walk outside the town. Seeing a steep cliff, she at once went to sit on the rim of it. But then she began to weep and wail. "Alas, to think that I shall one day marry and have a little child. He will come here and look over this cliff, and then he will fall over the edge and get killed. Oh, alas, my darling, darling son." The other daughters were waiting at home for their sister, and at length one of them said, "Whatever can have become of our sister?" The second one decided to look for her older sister, whom she found sitting on a rock, lamenting loudly. "My dear sister," she cried, "what is the matter that you weep so loudly?" "Alas," replied her sister, "don't you see this steep cliff? When I am married and get a little nephew for you, he will come here one day and tumble down and be killed." The second sister sat down too, and she also began to cry. Lastly, the youngest sister came along searching for them and heard the same sad lament. And so later, the mother also came and joined the weeping sisters, bewailing the sad fate of her grandson. Now, the good priest ran out to look for his family. As you well know, he found them sitting in a row, weeping and wailing more and more loudly. When he asked why they should be crying in this fashion, they answered that the eldest daughter was going to marry. She would have a little baby, and he would tumble down over the steep cliff and be killed. The priest could only mutter, "Oh, bless me, bad luck take you all. How long am I to put up with your folly? Will you never learn sense? Heaven is my witness that I will get away from here and leave you to your fate, or you will be the death of me." So he returned home, packed up, and departed, saying, "If I chance to find any 3 who are worse fools than you, and if fortune is kind and you live, I shall return and see you again. Otherwise your eyes will lose their sight before you look on me once more." With these plain words, the priest set out on his journey. He walked on until he came to another village. Here, passing a house, he heard loud wailing. When he peeped in to see what was going on, he beheld to his surprise a woman with a child in a cradle, and over the cradle a hatchet was hanging. It was the woman who was crying so loudly. "Alas," she wailed, "my baby will be killed by a hatchet. My baby will be killed by a hatchet." "My good woman," shouted the priest, entering the house, Whatever are you weeping about?" "You ask me why I am weeping? Don't you see, your reverence, that this hatchet will fall and kill my child?" "Oh, so I'm not the only one," murmured the priest to himself, and aloud he added, "What will you give me to save the baby from so sad a fate?" "Oh, whatever you please, your reverence. I would offer you my very life, if it were my own to give." With that, the priest moved the cradle to another part of the room. There, good woman, now don't cry any more." From the happy woman and her husband, the good priest received a handsome gift, and then he started on his travels. Soon he came to another house where a large crowd was gathered. More wailing and more loud shouts. The priest was naturally curious, so he drew close. At the door stood a tall man who was to go in and be married, but the door of his bride's house was so low that it appeared he could not enter. Everyone offered advice. "He could cut off his feet," said one. And another advised that he could cut off his head. These seemed the only possibilities. At this, the priest began to shake with laughter. "My fellows," he said, having some difficulty trying to hide his amusement, "what ails you that you stand here in a crowd shouting?" When they told him the reason for their clamouring, the priest asked, "What will you give me if I get this good man into the house?" "Take what you will, only do us this favour." The priest thereupon took hold of the man's head. "Stoop a bit," he directed. "Now a little more, a little more." And he repeated this until the man was inside the door. "There now," he said, "lift up your head again." And after this, as often as you go in and out, you must do the same. Do you understand? Since he was a priest, he then married the bride and groom and was off again on his way. Only a bit further on, he met an old woman washing a sow, that's just a female pig, with great vigour. She proceeded to deck the animal with gold and silver spangles in preparation for a wedding. She begged the priest to lead the sow to the wedding, saying she was too old to travel. "I'll pay you well for the trouble," the woman said. Such silliness the priest was willing to turn to his own advantage, so he agreed to regard it as a favour to drive the sow ahead of him. As soon as he had turned the corner, he stripped the sow of her gold and silver ornaments. Thus laden, the priest returned to his wife. "I thought," said he, "that there could be none so foolish as you in all the world, but I have found that there are others who surpass you. I shall keep my word. Henceforth, I shall put up with you for better or for worse." With the profits of his journey, the priest provided handsome dowries for his daughters. And although his wife behaved foolishly from time to time, he lived happily with her forever after. Well, can you believe how many silly people there were in that story? Which person do you think was the silliest of all, and why? I wonder if any of you remember another story from our podcast that is quite similar to this one. It's called The Three Sillies, episode 93, and it's an English version of this Greek story, so you might want to take a listen to that one now and see which story you prefer. Don't forget, if this story painted some fun pictures in your mind, do get busy drawing, and you can send us your masterpieces at www.journeywithstory.com. Click on the contact page and download them there, or you can tag us on Instagram. Cheerio then, join me next time for Journey with Story. Music and post-production was by Colette Jonas.